When you talk about Etsy dropshipping, print on demand or POD naturally comes into the conversation. So let me give my 2 cents about POD. I'm not really a fan. Okay, yes, it is allowed on Etsy. There's a lot less risks, right? But it's a lot harder to gain. There's some die-hard POD fans, people who are doing very well on POD. Maybe they'll comment going, "You're wrong, I'm doing great on POD." This is only my opinion, right? I just don't believe POD to be that sustainable and that, being able to pull yourself out of a business as much when it's POD, right? With Etsy dropshipping, you can kind of build up a store, pass it on to your team and have it managed, and you worry about maintenance, right? Whereas with POD, it kind of seems like it's something that is always ongoing, always time investment being spent into it. You can never really outsource the management because you've always got stuff to do, right? I have seen many good POD stores come up. They've hopped on a trend at the right time, or they've come up with some, design twists, and they've done well. They've done well for 7 days. Fantastic. They're thinking, oh my God, this is great. And then on the 8th day, 25 competitors pop up, stealing their designs, stealing their ideas, undercutting them. The POD sellers thinking, how are they even making profit on this? And it's because they've got a Chinese supplier who's doing it for far cheaper, right? So with POD, it's a game of cat and mouse. You're always having to run forward and go, and you can't really rest on your laurels. You can't really rest on the previous work that's been done, because with POD, at the end of the day, it's a design on a t-shirt, on a hoodie, on a mug from a supplier, and if someone else just has that design, it's the same product. It's the exact same. Whereas with drop shipping, you can do a load of marketing twists on things, right? That's marketing psychology. It's the item is what you say it is. Whereas with POD, it's a mug with a logo on it. It's something where you have to always be working on. I don't see how you can have 50 stores in POD all working together. Maybe you have artists behind the scenes who are always working, or maybe you're doing custom designs, right? And the customer uploads files and you have a team. I know stores like that, but the general generic POD route is just not sustainable, and the opportunity cost within is huge. And I know you're going to say, well, dropshipping, there's bans, there's this, there's that. And it's like, I would rather have an Etsy dropshipping store run for 3 months, have it make me 20 grand, and then on to the next, right? Instead of a POD store that makes 20 grand in a year, because when you understand how to build stores, create stores, scale them, have them managed, and you just worry about maintenance, it's easy going, right? So it's one of them. If you think you can make POD work, by all means do it, right? But don't throw out dropshipping. Don't if you want to do POD, I would do them both, right? I would do POD and dropshipping, and have fun with it. The other issue with POD is you become so attached to your stores, to your designs, you don't want to give it up. You're putting a huge time spend into a store, really hoping, because you really love the designs you made and you really think it can be something, but nothing's happening. So maybe if you just get a couple more designs up and a few more listings, and it's going to work out and it's going to pay off. Oh, please, please, please. I see that all the time. People just have an attachment to stores that are failing. It's dragging them down. They can never get past that. And with dropshipping, you're not emotionally attached to your products, right? You've just found them, you've listed them. You found them, you've listed them. That's all you've done. There's no emotional attachment there. POD can be great, right? That's it. If you're a great artist, a great designer, you can come up with these really good things. You're straight on trends, right? You scroll TikTok all day, you come up, you see a new TikTok trend, and you're like, right, let me get design for that done, boom. And within an hour, you've got mugs, t-shirts, hoodies up. Fantastic, right? But that's it. You always have to be looking forward, right? There's no time for rest with POD. There's, hyper scaling with POD just isn't there. And okay, sure, some of you are going to comment, yo, it is if you do it this way and do it that way. And it's like, well, with Etsy dropshipping is you list products on a store, have it do well, pass it to a team of VA managers that rinse and repeat, and you're doing 3, 4, 5 stores at once, listing products, boom, pass it on to the team, manage it. And all the management is order sheets, customer service, right? Tracking numbers, just the logistics, and that's all that's being managed. And the more it builds, it snowballs, reviews come in, customers are happy, repeat buyers, you build that authority in it very quick. And like I said earlier, with the psychology, that is what sets you apart over your competition. These dropshipping stores can last for years. Competition can come into the space, and sure, it can have a little bit of effect, but if you're the market leader with those products, eating away your star salary, you've got all these reviews, loving it, you've got your own UGC, and you're miles apart from the rest of your competition, you're always going to get the sales. And it's hard to see how you can have that edge with POD because of theft, right? These POD sellers, they seem to just be messaging every other seller who's using their artwork, I'm going to sue you if you do keep carrying on using my artwork. And it's like, mate, you've done 4 sales. You ain't affording nothing. So it's a game of attachment over opportunity cost. And for me, I always, follow the money. The more money in the dropshipping side, there's more fun. It's less mentally tolling, right? You never have this attachment issue. You never have a store you go, oh, I really love the products I listed on this. I really hope it does well, because you're just running with it, right? And, this is kind of my opinion on POD. At the end of the day, if you want to do POD because you have great designs, you're a great designer, you have great ideas, you're always on trends, you reckon you can make it work, do it, right? That's fine. No one's stopping you from doing that. That's great. But for the normal person who, just uses Canva, right? Just stick to dropshipping. Maybe build some cash flow. If POD is what you want to go into, build that cash flow, and then you can have a designer, right? And you just do all the trend research. A designer does your things. You work together. Boom. But for that you need money. And as I say, like always, Etsy dropshipping is the best way to build money. And if you want to know more about Etsy dropshipping, you can join the free course in the Discord. It's discord.gg/Etsy. The biggest Etsy community there is. I think about 8,000 members in it now. That's in the description. And yeah, guys, that's basically my 2 cents on POD.